Okay, so Alex has nailed down the 3 points of contact, hip hinge, okay? The whole idea of learning how to hip hinge is so hopefully we can grab a barbell or something heavy and start lifting it from the ground, right? So we're going to take that PVC pipe from our 3 points of contact position, then we're going to get in a stance that maybe you would use for an RDL. Alright, so what I typically tell people is as a starting point, is just grab it about thumb width away from their hips. That way, as they push out, they have some room to go without running into their hand, okay? We're going to do the same thing. It's the same pattern as our 3 points of contact position. So the first thing that's going to move is our hips going backwards. So a big difference though, is we got to figure out what to do with our shoulders because we're no longer out here, right? So what I'm going to have him do is pull his shoulder blades back and down. We're not shrugging as far back as possible. We're not shrugging up definitely. We're getting our scapula, our shoulder blades in the set position. So once he gets his grip and his stance right, he's going to pull his shoulder blades back and down, and that's going to help lock in his upper back, okay? From the side, it's going to look like so. I'm just going to pull back. I don't want to be hyperextended. Again, I'm not trying to see how far I can go. Just getting active at the shoulder blades. I'm going to go down and send my hips back, keeping my spine neutral, thinking about if I get to that bottom position, am I in 3 points of contact, right? Okay, so it takes some time to develop that muscle memory. So go ahead and grab that out. So we'll start from the front. He's going to get a nice, pretty narrow stance. Again, this is just for a development progression. You know, how you lift or your stance is going to be different for different lifters. But from just a kind of a movement development progression, we're going to start in this position. So he's got about a thumb width away from his hips, so he's got some room to push out into. He's going to get a little bit active and pull his shoulder blades back and down. Good. Now he's going to just simply go down into his hinge position. So he's going to send his hips towards the back wall, letting his chest come down. Again, his shins are going to stay vertical. He's got a nice inward curve in his low back. He's pushing those knees out to create that arch in his foot. Okay. One thing I didn't talk about before, he's going to use his lats. These guys from the pull-up muscles, right? He's going to pull that bar into his body. Okay? So now he's just strong and stable. I can put tons of force through him. I could break him anyway, but that's just a strong, stable position if you're set up right. So come back up. Let's do that from the side. Good. He tucks his shoulder blades back, sends his hip back. He's pulling the bar into his thighs. Okay, I'd have him pause. Yeah, good self-correction there. He knew his shins were too vertical, so he self-corrected by extending his knees a little bit, pushed out. Back is in a great position. So that's a nice, solid position to start his RDL. And back up. So from there, we just add a barbell. We basically work RDLs. Because if we stay above the knee joint with this movement, it's less complex than if we try to go down to the deadlift. Then we got to figure out the length tension relationships as we cross that knee. So we can work that powerful, strong hip extension with an RDL and not get that complicated. To get great strength benefits in that posture region.